This is the Council Sports Talk Callabo. All right. We are the caller on the line is Robby J. Okay, Robby J is the CEO and the host of the Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Network. He is calling from Colorado Springs, Colorado, by way of DMV. So that's an interesting travel situation. And he is with us tonight. Going to chill with us for about 30 minutes, and we're going to hit on a couple of things. Robby, are you with us?
Most certainly. Can you fellas hear me?
Yes, we can. Loud and clear. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm watching you guys on the big screen. I've enjoyed the show so far, fellas.
Listen, do not put me on the big screen. I am not that good to look at. I will break it.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, sure. That's why we put you in the middle, because you're the one that brings in the viewers.
No, I just walked in and sat out. That's all.
Well, greatly appreciate it, fellas. By the way, I appreciate the opportunity for doing the Colin Kaepernick piece that we just released this past week. Thank you for that opportunity.
That was fun. And that's something that we're going to be doing a lot of to kind of increase our coverage of breaking news during the week. Folks, please look out for that, especially if you're a subscriber on our YouTube channel. We will be making an increased effort to cover breaking news as much as possible. So, Robby, please tell us about your story. Where are you from? What are your favorite teams, and how did you come to root for those teams?
Well, I am from Woodbridge, Virginia. Recently moved out here to Colorado Springs. Shout out to everyone in the DMV area.
Are you in the Air Force? How'd you end up in Colorado Springs?
I took a corporate job offer, and kind of got tired of the corporate world, and I started up this
Wait. Hold on. I'm going to translate for that for you. You took a job offer in Colorado. You got there and realized that you could burn as much as you wanted, and you refused to leave.
Yeah, definitely did not want to leave Colorado. That did play.
And why would you?
Got kind of burnt out. Was back. Created the Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Network back in October. Right before we all got on air together, we hit 603 subscribers. Thank you for everyone to subscribe.
Nice.
But now I cover analysis, debate. We're gonna be working on getting some player interviews going. So on and so forth. My favorite teams though, I got rocking my Washington Redskins. LA Lakers. I grew up watching basketball out in LA. I'm a military brat. Shot the Lakers, and then with baseball, the Nationals. Hockey is the Capitals, and college basketball, my Tigers.
And who did you say was your college basketball team?
UNC.
Okay.
All right. I can do
Gotta
that.
go with Mike, Vince Carter, all them boys.
Okay, I know Maryland people might not be really keen on that, though, because that's a rivalry.
Not anymore. They're in the Big Ten. In the Big Ten now.
True.
Maryland's moved now, yeah.
Yeah, college basketball is broken anyway. All right, let's go into a couple of things, especially since you're out in Colorado. We got a couple of questions for you to get that hometown exposure. We like to get as close to a story as possible. So that's one of the great things about the Council Sports Talk. We don't act like we're experts. We look for people in markets that can cover stories for us better than we can. So a few things in the Colorado, let's say Denver, Colorado sports market over the past week. What is the feeling with the Flacco trade to the Broncos? What are the Colorado fans saying, the Broncos fans saying, and then of course you as a savvy football fan, let us know what your feeling is on that also.
Oh, most certainly. So just actually did a piece on this recently. The feeling is there's some that are excited, but well, it's the feeling of mediocrity. When you look at the stats of a Case Keenum versus a Joe Flacco, they're the exact same guy. They're the exact same guy. They're going to give you a 60% completion percentage. Not that too far off of an athlete that we covered in a separate piece, this previous week. Kaepernick. You're getting that. How do I say? Joe Flacco, yes, he did go to the Super Bowl, but is he going to do that again? More than likely not, unless the Denver defense is into that. There's just a feeling of a lot of mediocrity. A lot of Denver fans are saying and begging LA to still look at a quarterback in the draft, maybe someone of the likes of Lott.
Okay, well, what's your opinion on Flacco to the Broncos?
I was going to say this about Flacco. The thing that's so deceptive about Flacco is that there's all these highlights of him in the past. He's going to the Super Bowl, and he's a big game player. Like, I've seen him, he'll be like average in the regular season, but when the playoff comes, he's not afraid to make big plays and make big passes in the clutch, take a hit. So that's the thing that makes me want to kind of hang on to the Flacco thing. The only problem that I might have with your offense with the Broncos is the fact that Emmanuel Sanders is down. He went down with an injury. So I don't know how long he's going to be out. And I'm unsure of what their wide receiver situation is now. They let Demaryius Thomas go, whose play had declined. So I'm wondering how they can put it together. They do have a great running back, and they do have a great defense, which I think they're going to continue to invest in. So, like you said, you could end up – go ahead.
I think that the Denver Broncos have regressed with the Flacco trade and the release of Demaryius Thomas. You're right; they have Philip Lindsay in the backfield. But what receivers do you have? You got to wait on Emmanuel Sanders to come back healthy. He can easily go down again. What, you're going to rely on Courtland Sutton?
Yeah, there's nothing. And when
Sutton, once again, mediocre.
And he was in Baltimore. He didn't have wide receivers year before last. They call themselves bringing in possession receivers this year to help him out. And for whatever reason, Flacco really couldn't light it up. And that's why he ended up losing his job. So you could be right. I think they might be mediocre.
Now, one thing about the receiver position, it's a position where players rise up through the depth charts.
Okay.
Right? Because typically a team might carry 6, 7, 8 receivers. It gives plenty opportunity for a young receiver to take 2 to 3 to 4 years to find himself and become a legitimate NFL starter. So I tend not to look at receivers on the depth chart looking for a name to pop out at me. And I have an understanding that chemistry and system and coaching does a lot to raise up receivers up through the depth chart. So I'm not going to be too afraid there, right?
I'm just not confident based upon what I've seen from this system that they have. Like, if they brought in somebody new, I might be more inclined to believe like maybe it'll be
But
different.
You didn't see Philip Lindsay coming.
Well,
no.
Here's a great scenario. Okay. We all love the Kardashians of the NFL right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look at how Juju has risen through the ranks.
Right.
And now they feel secure enough to where, hey, AB, you're doing all the drama. It's okay for you to go. So I see the wide receiver take very well. That's a hot take right there. I like that.
Right, but again, the Steelers are actually known for developing players. Broncos, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Like, we've had the conversation with the Steelers.
That's true.
We've had the conversations about the Steelers, and it was Emmanuel Sanders developed out of nowhere. It was Antonio Brown developed out of nowhere. Hayward Bay, Juju.
Martavius Bryant.
Santonio
Bryant, Martavius Bryant. Yep. Santonio. They've developed.
That backs up the point we were talking about. Like, I have more confidence. I'm still a little shaky about AB leaving there and how they'll do, but in the past they have shown they can do something.
That's why they don't care about Antonio Brown. Goodbye. And the Steelers have never cared about any one player. Okay,
any one player.
Right. They threatened to get rid of. They threatened Ben They was threatening Ben 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah, you're exactly correct. Yeah, I mean, so to the effect, they'll go with with Flacco. I mean, who is he going to throw to? Who are they going to just rely on the running game the whole time? I mean, there's so many holes that Denver is now left with. I see the team regressing, not progressing.
Okay, so I think it's a positive move for the Broncos. I think Flacco is a clear upgrade over Keenum, based on first physical tools. And that's Elway's thing. Elway falls in love with measurements and tools like I do. However, when you're talking about measurements and tools, that's really for young players who don't have a track record to fall back on. Mm-hmm. Once you have a track record, the tools go out the window. So let's talk about Mr. Flacco's track record. 163 NFL starts. 96-67 record. Phenomenal. A 62% completion percentage over his career. 38,000 yards. 212 touchdowns. 136 interceptions.
He can sling the ball.
84% quarterback rating. So
those are the exact same stats as Case Keenum, though. Those are the exact same stats as Case Keenum over the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, looking at his stats and using the eye test is two different things with Flacco, because the stats ring my bell, but I've seen him really just be a pedestrian player all of his career outside of a one playoff run.
Listen, Case Keenum is nothing without Pat Shurmur. Because before Pat Shurmur came around with the Vikings, he did nothing. He had that one good year, and actually flashed. He flashed like he looked amazing, and he's done. There's nothing he can do. Go ahead.
My co-host Ty Buggy actually challenged me on our last episode that we just did on this topic.
Okay.
And he said, "You know what? Name 5." He looked me right in the eyes, right on camera, and said, "Name 5 wide receivers from the Denver or from the Baltimore Ravens during the Flacco era that were just top notch. Like outside of Steve Smith and Anquan Bolden." I actually got stuck right there on set on camera. I was like, man, that's tough. I mean, they had Jeremy Maclin, but mediocre.
Yeah, but they never gave him good receivers. It wasn't until last year that they tried to address that issue, and they still brought in kind of like middle-tier guys all over the field to try to help him out. But I agree. They never put any money. They always put money in the defense.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to a very similar situation where it's a defense-based team.
This is going to be interesting because, I mean...
It's going to be interesting.
Right, because, I'm looking at, again, what I see on the field is a pedestrian player, right, that I wouldn't want on my team. What I'm seeing in the numbers and in the leaderboards is a franchise quarterback, all right? And just a couple of things. And here's what's scary. Career sacks, 333. That's 34th all-time in the NFL. All right, that's scary. All right, but, he's been ranked in the top 100 of the NFL 1, 2, 3, 5 times, all of those consecutively from 2011 to 2015. Career passer rating, 84, is 42nd all-time. Okay, that's a good. Career yards per game, 234 per game, is 23rd all-time. So
he's got an arm. The guy, there's no doubt he can throw the rock.
Yeah, he has an arm.
I'm just not confident. Just like
no, something's missing.
Yeah,
something's missing.
Yeah,
right. It's not connecting. It's one thing here and one thing here, and it's not connecting. So, I mean, this could be the thing that takes this guy to the next level. He should be a top 10 quarterback and considered a top 10 quarterback.
Well, after being he would probably assume he was disrespected last year the way he was pulled out of there. If he can't pull it together after the way that happened,
right, and
he lost his job to a rookie, then it's over.
Well, here's how those numbers work out.
This has to be his comeback year. Because of that piece right there, this has to be Joe Flacco's comeback year.
Right, he has to be big. But we said that about Joe Flacco at the beginning of the 2018 season. Mm-hmm. Once that quarterback was drafted, Joe Flacco was on notice.
Yeah.
You have to come out now and set the world on fire.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact that Lamar Jackson is scoring touchdowns in practice.
And we gave you receivers.
And everybody's seeing it.
Crabtree, Snead. We gave you some better receivers.
Right. So, due to the fact that NFL teams make commitments to quarterbacks for 2, 3, 4 years, and the current landscape of the NFL reveals to us only 3 or 4 teams that have a hole at quarterback. Based on that, we know it's many more, but based on who I just made a commitment to, I have to ride with for 3 years. There's only 2 or 3 teams that any player, any potential quarterback could actually fit into. Jacksonville, Miami, the Broncos, etc. So what that means for Joe Flacco going into 19 is it is now or it's over, because one, the Broncos might draft a quarterback right behind you, and you're going to be in the same situation where you were in last year. There's no more comfort for Joe Flacco. You must set the world on fire now, or it's over, or you're going to back up.
Headed down that Eli Manning path.
Or you're going to be a backup.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I think we're in the NFL where the new guard is coming in. Patrick
Yes.
Mahomes, Jared Goff,
Oh,
so
yeah.
on and so forth.
Golf
That
makes me nervous though.
position.
After that Super Bowl, Golf. I mean, that was disappointed in his performance. So, but I agree with you. Golf
Yeah,
is one of your
same.
top tier quarterbacks.
Okay. You said Goff is a top tier quarterback?
Yeah, he's one of your top tier quarterbacks in the league.
And what tier?
Based upon his regular season.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Jared,
Eventually.
one season though?
Eventually.
When I say top tier, we're
I'm not
talking
gonna
about
say
the.
that now.
I'm not saying top 5, but I'm saying like he's not below average.
You're saying that he's top 16?
Yes, I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
Yeah, top 16.
I definitely give him
Coming
that.
in where? 14, 15, and 16?
You said 16. If he's 16, he still makes top 16.
Listen, if we had time, I would show you 16 quarterbacks better than Jared Goff.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could.
Okay.
He went to the Super Bowl. He's got to do. He didn't do well in the
Wait a
Super Bowl,
minute.
but to get there, he actually played pretty good during the regular season. He was good. Everybody was excited.
All right.
Top scoring offense. Well, not the top, but one of the top scoring offenses
right.
in the league. He just wet the bed.
All right. Okay. Tell me about the Denver Nuggets and the reaction to the fan base about the Nuggets' breakout season here, and what are fans feeling in terms of their prospects of going into the Western Conference Finals and potentially making some noise.
So we actually went inside the belly of Pepsi Center for a game right before the All-Star break. It was Thunder versus Nuggets, and the stadium was lit. Russell Westbrook got in his feelings. This team right now and where this team is going, okay, I think once Warriors have their breakup, okay, so this is a couple of years from now prediction. Looking at my crystal ball. But the way that team is developing now, Jokic, Murray, the whole squad, when the Warriors have their breakup and LeBron retires, the West is probably going to be all the Nuggets. And I'm saying that as a Lakers fan because they're on fire right now. They have a young team that works together. They move the ball. They have a great core. If it wasn't for some other teams in the West, Rockets, Warriors, others, then they would probably be able to make a push into the final.
You're forgetting a piece. You're forgetting a piece. I don't want to interrupt you, but you're forgetting a piece that they drafted last year that hasn't even touched the court yet. Michael Porter Jr.
Yes.
He hadn't even seen the court.
You're right.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Porter Jr. has not seen the court. You're right. You are correct. So there's still pieces in development. A lot of pieces in development. I like Nuggets for the future. I think that they get into. I don't think that they're going to necessarily be 1-1 in the playoffs. They may get to the second round potentially.
So, please ring the alarm bell for the New Orleans Pelicans, who should have looked at the Nuggets as an example of what happens when you get rid of your disgruntled superstar, and then you set yourself up for your next run. Mm-hmm. Okay? This is, although the pieces aren't still there, this is the result of trading Melo when they did early and getting Gallinari, Chandler, Mozgov, and all of those players from the Knicks that put them in position to not necessarily be horrible, because the Jokic thing, so Robbie, so I have a general understanding that NBA general managers as a whole are pretty dumb. Okay,
100%.
100%.
Absolutely prove that.
The Jokic thing, they had Jokic and Nurkic, and for a minute I couldn't tell who was who. Okay, I couldn't tell who was who. I just know they had these two European dudes, and they were both killing it. Developed players to the point where they say, "Oh, you know what? We can't have them both. No, we can move one."
Yeah.
All right, but that is how you build. You know what I mean? And the Nuggets now are set for a long, long time, as long as they can control Jokic, and even we're missing Moutier. Okay, Moutier. Jamal, right? Jamal. When you had Jamal and Moutier, and then Gary Harris, it always seems
Gallinari was balling too.
Right. It always seems like you're overdrafting at the same position, but that's not what it is when you're developing players. I don't care if you bring in 7 guys in the same position. Eventually, one of them will rise to the top, and the others become very attractive assets in the trade market. Now, they probably should have got something more for Moutier now that you see what he's developing into.
Yeah.
But, he probably doesn't fit with Jamal and Gary Harris. You made a decision there based on chemistry that you would rather have those 2 ball movers than Moutier dribbling. Yeah. Right? So it makes sense for them, and now you see what they're turning into.
Yeah. They're turning into a team that, like we mentioned, they're going to be set for a long time. Another key piece that I think that is going to prosper with them, he had a rough go with some of his previous teams. Isaiah Thomas.
Completely agree.
A team that he's going to be able to fit into the lineup with and return back to Celtic form where he was years ago. Then this is going to be the team in the group that's going to bring that out of him.
Wait a minute.
That he's going to step up and get that.
One question. What is his contract?
I'll tell you. Keep talking. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. You can go ahead. I was gonna look it up while you're talking. But go ahead.
That's actually what I was gonna do. I was gonna say I believe it's only for this year.
Exactly. So Isaiah Thomas is a player who has lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay?
He lost hundreds of millions of dollars in that trade to Cleveland.
His hip lost that hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what happened.
Yeah,
because he wasn't when that hip was going and everybody knew it. Like, I mean, Boston made out crazy with the way that panned out for them to get a great player for at the time was a good player. So,
well, right. And we can talk about how LeBron is a really bad GM. That was a bad GM move on LeBron's part.
No, it wasn't. Because he was setting this all up. Because Kyrie, he was setting it up.
He was setting it up for next year with the Lakers.
He set Kyrie free. He said, "I'm gonna be free next year, and then when I'm out there, come on over." You see what's happening,
folks. LeBron is playing chess. We are all stuck.
Kyrie already called and apologized. "I'm so sorry. I didn't realize the leader that you were, boss.
Right.
I'd like to come out to LA. How you feel?"
Right.
Yeah. That's what's going on.
Kyrie's gonna be a Laker next year.
You're right. So basically, LeBron did that and to set up 2020 with the Lakers.
And not only that trade for Isaiah Thomas, when he traded him to the Lakers, it opened up cap space for him to go and somebody else. They just didn't happen to get another big star. He opened it up for himself.
They need to suspend LeBron and kick him out the league because this is beyond tampering. There's no word for this.
Tampering.
This is not tampering.
If they'll sit there and let you do it, it's deserved.
It's not tampering. It is a manipulation of the system at the highest level.
I love it. At
the highest level.
I love it. No longer can you be an owner in this league and sit around with one superstar and keep missing the playoffs while the fans have to sit there and deal with it. Nah, not anymore.
LeBron, this is going to be one of the few times that LeBron could not make the playoffs in his career. Like, as long as we're on his name and we're mentioning his name, like, let's just hone in on that for a second. Like, that is scary. And I'm a Lakers fan. And we brought him here to win championships and bring us superstars. And he is completely the furthest thing from doing that right now.
Well, just calm down. Don't panic yet. Right. Don't hit the panic button. I think that LeBron's going to put you back. You're going to get back in it.
You're going to get back in it.
Yeah, don't worry.
You're going to get back in it.
Yeah, you remember, LeBron doesn't play till after the All-Star break anyway. He doesn't play till after the All-Star break.
And that team, once you can get all them babies to stop crying and to, man up, I love the makeup of the Lakers team, and I've liked it from day one. A lot of length, a lot of versatility. I was calling Zubac's name in October when no one knew who Zubac was.
They traded him away, and really
that's where they hurt. That's going to hurt them.
I'm upset about that.
But I guess they're seeing, between Zubac and Thomas Bryant, I was on the bandwagon for both of them, all right? Both of them are now gone, but LeBron doesn't like young players to start with, and he doesn't like bigs. Yeah. So he's seeing...
No, he doesn't like bigs.
He's seeing Chandler and JaVale as two guys combined who are going to play 30 minutes, and he's going to play center for the other 18 minutes.
I don't understand how you don't like a big, but then you'll bring your boy in. I want to call him a Kardashian, but you know what I'm talking about. For Cleveland, the $80 million Tristan,
right? Because he's not a primary big.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't want the ball.
Right.
He can't dunk. He just stands there, sets screens.
He just gets offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
He gets your misses and gives them back to you.
Yeah,
I used to be able. Back in the day. I used to have a saying: if you could pay me to hate LeBron, I would be a LeBron hater professionally. But now he's a Laker. I have to deal with it. And I got to defend him. Dude, I got to deal with it. And I'm dealing with what comes with him on your team.
I really like what LeBron brings. At the end of the day, I'm just really excited about the fact that there's a player that is challenging the status quo, and he's doing what he wants to do. It's so hard to get a player to be able to be in a position to do that without ruining himself and getting ostracized.
And, by the way, CAA is representing baseball players too.
Yeah.
I just found out.
They're making moves.
He's in every sport, LeBron.
Yeah.
He's in every sport.
Yeah.
They're reporting baseball players.
He's a silent partner right now, but wait. When he retires, it's
on. He'll tamper with that.
All right. Okay, a couple things we just want to hit on real fast. 2019 Nationals, how are you feeling?
Well, it looks like Harper could potentially become a Philly if somehow some act of a higher power that he stays a National. That would make me happy. But outside of that, I think that we're going to be set even when he goes. I think our pitching is really going to be able to pull us through. Turner is coming along as a nice young guy up to the plate. I like what he does. So I think it will be all right, and I think we'll develop Turner into what we were trying to have Harper as.
Okay, well, so I'm not a Harper fan. Okay, as you might have heard.
I heard your take earlier.
Right. So losing Harper for the Nationals is a upgrade because Soto is already as good as Harper at his best. That's number one. Number two, Victor Robles, Michael Taylor now round out a extremely fast, great defensive outfield. All right. Harper was, especially in the last year or two, he was a liability in right field. Once, I don't know, Scott Boras told him to stop diving for balls. The stats literally show he stopped diving for balls. Like literally, the stats say he stopped diving for balls 100%. You're not going to miss him. Soto's going to make up for him. Robles is going to make up for him. What I feel the Nationals are going to be lacking, though, is in the bullpen. I don't know why they continue to go into season after season with top-notch starting pitchers and no one to close or seal up the middle and the end of games. That's going to come back to haunt them in this division.
Yeah, we need a close. We need a close that can help us close out games.
There's a ton of them on the free agent market right now, by the way.
Yes. I was just about to say that actually.
You can get Craig Kimbrell right now.
Complete broken process, like you fellas mentioned. But but I actually agree with you. I think I'm coming to terms with it, and I'm coming to accept it as a fan, just because I mean he was a big piece of our team. That's the guy that if he's on your team, the reason why you pay him so much money is it's his name.
Yes.
And when he's hitting those dingers, he can bring people to the park.
Absolutely, he's a star.
Else is, yeah. What other names are really, that's to say they have to develop a young star like you, and even like you were mentioning, that can do that because they're going to lose out on that piece of the marketing of that piece of the franchise with the fans. That's
100% right. What he brings in terms of star level, in terms of quote, now if I hear somebody ask a stupid question, I can automatically, that's a clown question, bro. That came from Harper. That's lexicon forever. Thank you for that. He is a star. He has cachet. He puts bodies into the stadium, but his numbers can be replicated by a lesser player.
And I hope that, and I really do hope for that, and I hope that we still make a chase for the pennant. I feel like almost like the Nationals are they're a cursed team in DC. I think all DC sports are cursed, to be honest. Though.
Well, except for your hockey team. Hockey team,
they had a good run.
Yeah, they had a good run last year.
It was like
Ovechkin. Yeah, he's a goat.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's a beast. I love him. I like hardcore dogs, right? I love Ovechkin. He's a monster.
That championship eluded him for so long. I was glad he got one.
All right.
Yeah.
How about the Rockies, real quick? Since you're in the area, what are they looking like for the season?
So the Rockies are looking to have a good season. They're going to be making a big push. If you guys kept up with well, I'm sure you guys did. As analysts, I'm positive you guys did. But Nolan Arenado voted top 3 of the MLB 100. I look for the Rockies to do some big things. We're actually planning on covering opening day, Rockies versus Dodgers, April 5th. Doing a live stream from within Coors Field. But I think that the Rockies are going to be set. Their outlook is stellar.
Okay, I definitely see them as a clear second place to the Dodgers and potentially challenging the Dodgers. But the Dodgers have that top-notch starting pitching, but unfortunately they also have a manager that doesn't believe starting pitchers should go 5 innings. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I did want to mention is for Rockies fans out there and all the Rockies fans, if you guys are listening, you guys beg for a top-notch pitcher that can get you guys over the hump, because that's what's really been crushing you guys. Is your bullpen. You don't got anyone that can, like you said, more than 5 innings.
Right. Well, I think they have players that can go that way, but they're so analytically driven that they're sworn to never let a pitcher see a lineup for a third time. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my take on the Rockies. Don't really have too much around them at the given moment. I know that on the graphic that you show, they do have a free agent that they're looking at to sign in. What was his name? Oh my gosh. Or no, I think it was they just signed Charlie Blackmon or something like that. Or Charlie Blackmon to right field is what I read.
Right. Well, I think they gave Blackmon an extension. All right.
An extension as well. Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about the Colin Kaepernick story with you. And part of that story was the Colorado Springs store, a sporting goods store that was going out of business due to their protest.
Pulled Nike off the shelves.
Can you tell me about that? Because I didn't believe it was real. So you were the first person I reached out to find that this was actually happening. So fill us in on that. And I know you've been looking into Colin Kaepernick's situation pretty intently. Just give us a full update on what happened there in terms of the litigation or with the NFL, and also some background on that particular store and store owner that apparently had to go out of business due to their protest of Kaepernick.
Most certainly. So the store thing, kind of funny, kind of ironic. The day that the Nike ad aired, that store, I shop there all the time. I shop at Primetime Sports all the time up until this incident had recently happened. They took all their Nike stuff off shelves and sold it at 50% off.
Nice.
Well, once there was no more Nike product, and Nike is a gross holder of a lot of league apparel for multiple sports.
Yeah.
They kind of lost a lot of that traffic. I know a lot of the employees. I am working on bringing some investigative pieces behind that together of how it's going to affect their lives and stuff like that. It was a really, really awesome store up until that point. I did end up getting a Sean Taylor jersey off of that deal. I had to make it come up off of it somehow, you know. Hey. But yeah, no, I guess that it had gotten so bad in terms of sales and in terms of numbers. He's eventually forced to close down. He is pretty much almost practically giving all the rest of the memorabilia in the store like away. We're talking like signed Emmett Smith helmets and like high quality stuff.
We should have gone out there.
I know, right? That would be worth the trip. Buy his whole store and then take that all on eBay.
If you came out. But yeah, it was so big that it made national news. We actually broke it on our Facebook first, but I guess because Yahoo and Complex Magazine and all those other bigger sources like made it even more. To us here, it's just pretty much a regular store in Colorado Springs, and we're just happy for the sales, to be honest. Now, in terms of the actual Kaepernick situation, we and Kaepernick did settle on a undisclosed amount. There is nothing in the CBA that says that he cannot sign with another team. In more recent news, a lot of you guys, if you didn't see the piece update, you can check it out on Council Sports Talk YouTube page. You can also check it out on our YouTube page as well, Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Network. But in some more updated news that was not in that piece, there are two teams that could potentially be looking at him: the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots. Look for this to be very interesting. I find the Patriots a very interesting suitor due to the fact that, one, you already have Brady there, but we know that he's getting old. Two, this gives Cap a second option at a ring. Three, I see you chilling with Meek Mill. I see you with Meek Mill,
yes,
your chain and everything on the craft. I know what you're doing.
Dancing with Cardi B.
Yep, I think he brings Colin Kaepernick in, and it kind of gives him, that whole situation gives Kaepernick some fool to maybe think about the Patriots. The Panthers, Cam Newton with that shoulder injury, obviously he'll be missing the season. Kaepernick will be a good fit because of the way that they use the quarterback and the mobile abilities of the quarterback.
Yeah, and their offensive coordinator, North Turner. So great with a mobile quarterback.
Yeah. So the Patriots part of that is very interesting because anyone who follows sports as intently as we do, we have an understanding universally. Father Time is undefeated. So it looks like Tom Brady is winning that fight right now. But if you understand the evolution of an athlete's career, you understand that it doesn't end because of their loss of skills. Because skills improve with age. He's a smarter passer. He's a more accurate passer. Okay? You can't take that away. What you can take away, though, is athleticism, velocity on his passes, but they make up for stuff like that with the increase in awareness. What they can't stop is the injury. And when the injury happens, it's over. Yeah. It's not coming back. It's not rehab. It's nothing. There's nothing you can do once that injury hits a 40-year-old. It's done. It's done.
And let's talk on that really quick, because if that does happen, here's what's so interesting with this take is that if he's a Patriot, if Colin Kaepernick becomes a Patriot, we already know Bill Belichick probably has a playbook already geared up and ready with a completely set of different plays for the whole New England Patriots offense that'll completely demolish the rest of the league and the AFC. He's a mastermind, so I wouldn't be shocked if this happens because it's strategic for Belichick.
The New England Patriots have been very aggressive lately. They always are really good at putting in average players in positions to do well. Case in point, Edelman, right? But like we were talking about before the show, they were aggressively pursuing Odell Beckham last offseason. They're talking about Kaepernick, Eric Berry. They're trying to really make presses to get real talent in there. Like that could be really scary down the line. But more importantly, I feel like any team that brings in Colin Kaepernick, it's going to be worth the time and worth the money. You will be the darling franchise. You're the team that bought Colin Kaepernick back, selling jerseys.
You got to look at, there's a segment of this country that will not forgive what his protest.
Yeah, but then there's a segment
that
will be
right, but that's going to create a division. You know what I mean? So on the field, it's a good move.
But it's a good place to fall for him because they love New England so much. They love Belichick. They love Robert Kraft so much. That might be the only franchise you might just wink at and be like, you know what? I think it'll work.
But there's so much with him and him as a name and as a player because it's, like you said, the divide. What is that division going to do? Are they not going to buy tickets? Are season ticket holders going to give up their ticket? But then there's also the... But then there's also the fact of, how do I say, there's also the fact, the media circus that's going to be brought upon. He was offered $20 million, or he wanted $20 million from AF and turned it down. So do you still really want to play football? Did they give you enough settlement money to where you don't have to play football? So there's a lot on his end.
Right. But you know what that points to, in my opinion? That points to if Colin Kaepernick has the right people, they're going to be like, we signed with the Patriots for whatever, because none of that noise is happening up there because they are not allowed to talk.
Dude, but they
can't talk. They don't have an opinion, none of those players.
But the thing is, they love that franchise so much. They can't do wrong. Like that's like if the Cowboys went out and did something crazy.
No, you're right.
They would just let it go.
Patriots fans, regardless of their political leanings, are going to be all in.
They just won a championship.
Right.
Yeah, they just care about winning. Right. They just care about winning. Yeah.
And all Bill Belichick has to do is come on the mic and mumble. That's it. And everybody will walk away.
That's it.
100% correct. 100% correct, fellas.
But Carolina is a great spot.
Belichick says in Boston goes.
Yeah, but that is a great landing spot in Carolina because when Eric Berry went there, the fan base didn't mind. There wasn't a lot of talk about everything that was going on. So that is a good place for him to go to, and there's an opening for him to have a chance to play. So
it depends on what Cam's injury is. So
shoulder injury.
But he's at the age where you're not going to displace him. Tom Brady, like we said, he can go down any minute and it'll be done.
Well, you maybe just want to get your foot back in the door and play for a season, let all the hoopla die down, show everybody you can play again, and then go to another landing spot.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
All right, one last story we wanted to touch on with you, Rob. The New Orleans Pelicans have fired General Manager Dell Demps.
Manager of the year. I said it was coming.
Look.
I said it.
So GM of the year.
We've touched on this a couple times, and we have pretty much anointed Dell Demps as being an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's just based on, even when we just spoke about the Nuggets, the idea that you can get Zubac, Kuzma, Ingram, Hart, Ball plus picks, and you turn that down is idiotic.
And they're kids. They're like 20-year-olds.
And Lonzo Ball has a chance to be a Hall of Famer. Forget about everybody else. Lonzo Ball is special. Okay? He's a game changer. He is special.
Agreed.
So here
we
is
Lonzo.
Say that again.
We miss Lonzo. Lakers
yes.
Nation, we miss Lonzo.
Yes. Lonzo's the real deal.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so the New Orleans Pelicans press release for immediate release February 15th. And I will read directly from that press release. The New Orleans Pelicans announced that after discussions with Dale Demps this morning, the team and Demps have decided to mutually part ways. We will immediately begin the process of restructuring our basketball operations department, stated Pelicans owner Gail Benson. This will include a comprehensive but confidential search aided by outside consultants to identify a new leader of our basketball operations, directly reporting to me.
He's the fall guy.
Okay.
He's the fall guy.
Danny Ferry will assume the team's interim general manager duties. Ferry most recently served as, and it cuts off right there. That is from a tweet from Chris Mannix, and it is a tweet containing the actual press release from the New Orleans Pelicans as of February 15th, 2019.
First of all, when this whole thing is going on, if he was in the middle of, I don't know if it was his decision exclusively to not accept that Lakers trade. But if he got a call from upstairs saying, don't make the trade, this is what we want to do, you've got to see the train coming. And that's when you get out. You see Danny Ferry, who used to be a GM sitting behind you, you just get out, because I feel like now he's kind of damaged himself. Hey, he can get back in, maybe at another place in the league, but maybe not in that role for a while, because people aren't going to remember, or they're not going to forget the fact that he did this. He should have left. He should have shut it down. It's like, look, you know what? I got to go. I just had to walk away. Just resign.
But he wouldn't do that in the middle of a season.
If you see it coming anyway?
Yeah, but, I mean, okay. So I've heard rumors that he took advice from Popovich.
Oh, okay then.
Okay.
He should go work for the Spurs.
Go back to the Spurs. So I've heard rumors that he took advice from Popovich, and this situation is remarkably similar to Kawhi Leonard's situation with the Spurs. And, of course, the Western Conference beat LA vibe. I keep telling people about it.
Like it's real.
Everybody acts like it's not a thing.
It's real.
You don't trade to the Lakers, and the Western Conference has a 30-year history of hatred toward the Lakers, taking their best players
they don't want
whenever
us to
they
have all
want.
those championships.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. That's very true.
Right. So, what do you think, Robbie? What's your breakdown of this Pelicans situation? The denial of trade proposals made by the Lakers to the Pelicans, and how this situation has broken down here.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I definitely got to say for you guys. One, Dell Demps is the greatest GM in the history of GMs. For not accepting the Lakers' offer. I'm kidding. I'm purely being sarcastic with that. Dell Demps, why did you take that offer, my brother, my guy, from the Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Network? You are the reason why the Rum is always gone, because of that. We gave you guys everything. Here's exactly what's gonna happen, okay? And this didn't make it into editing, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop it here on you guys' show. We're gonna make the New Orleans Pelicans the exact same offer, okay? During the summer. or fairly close.
It may be a little bit less, actually.
It may be less.
It may take Kuzma out of it.
Maybe less.
Yeah, maybe less, because
Zubac's already gone.
First time.
Yeah.
So why would I deal with you, this time? But we're gonna make them another offer. And if they don't take it again, because I don't think that Boston's gonna deal with them. Jason Tatum wants to stay a Celtic. Kyrie, like we mentioned earlier, he wants to become a Laker. LeBron is saying old school Fetty Wap on Instagram, saying, Kyrie, do you remember this? Rewind. So there's a lot that's going into this.
Yeah.
Dell Demps' greatest GM for not taking that trade. We're going to make you guys one more offer. If you guys don't take it, well, then I'm sorry. We'll go after Kyrie, Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, some of the other unrestricted free agents are going to be out there. Kevin Durant,
Kawhi.
Generation K.
Kawhi wants to come to LA. Here's the thing. Every player wants to play in LA. Every owner does not want to send those players to LA.
Yeah, they're coming. It just really boils down to timing. This season it wasn't, the off season was just getting LeBron in and hopefully getting another piece. At the time it was only Paul George that was available and possibly maybe, you might be able to pull off a trade or something for Kawhi, but Pop wasn't hearing that. So timing says you're going to have to wait till next summer to add that next piece, and hopefully you can maybe make a trade, to get your big three in there.
Okay.
We don't know LeBron. He can't do it himself.
Hey, he can come pretty close by himself.
If he'll get us into the playoffs and then out, probably. I see it. I don't know.
Another piece of the story, Anthony Davis. I think you saw somewhere where he is literally about to shut it down for the season.
We did read something about that. There's a possibility he may not play. But I do know before the All-Star game, he supposedly hurt his shoulder. It didn't get checked at the facility. Actually left to go get his own MRI. They said it was a shoulder contusion. He did play for a few minutes at the All-Star game. When I say few, I mean it was very few. If anything, to guesstimate, 5 to 8 minutes. He didn't really play that long. Okay. And that was it. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. It would behoove the Pelicans to not play him, so that he is the best player he can be in the event you trade him. Because he is injury prone in the past. So that's the last thing you need, to hold on to him. He gets hurt. Now you really are trading damaged goods. So, and it's good for him too, because he can help his pockets and make a little bit more money if he waits.
Okay. All right.
100%.
We're waiting for Gene to get on, but in the meantime, Robbie, hang out with us for a few more minutes. We're going to take you into the next segment. All right, this is going to be a fast segment. I'm looking at the clock, and we are going to be finished on time tonight, no matter what.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we are looking at, as of this moment, 25 minutes to the end of the show. So we're going to breeze through some topics. Be very, very quick with your takes. If it's a topic that requires some back and forth discussion, we'll do our best to do that. But otherwise, we just some things that we want to breeze through very quickly. I want to get a pat on the back from Ron tonight. All right,
that's right. Our sponsors, they talk to us all the time. Every time we're in production meetings, move a little faster, guys.
I don't want the tongue lashing from Ron for going 2 minutes over, where he starts. Here's what you guys got to do.
Yeah. The GS Radio Studios, they got a lot going on, man. They got a lot happening. So.
Hey, I understand. My producer does it to me too. Shout out my producer to him.
Oh yeah. All right. NFL news, really fast. NFL owners have approached NBA Commissioner Adam Silver about eventually taking over for Roger Goodell. And I see a cited source being NFLTradeRumors.com. That is the source I see cited. I do not know if this is true or not. It is clearly unorthodox, but it makes sense. Is this real? Does this make sense, Joe?
It's probably some rumor there. It makes sense to me because Adam Silver is doing a great job with the NBA. So I can see how other organizations would want to have Adam Silver come in. Only problem is Adam Silver was groomed for this position by David Stern. And it's a really big deal to be the commissioner of the NBA and do well. The NFL guy has a lot of issues. They got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. And to be honest with you, Roger Goodell hasn't handled a lot of situations the best. So we'll see. But from what I understand, with follow-up information, Adam Silver probably is going to stay where he is.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's got the greatest job in the world. That's 30 years worth of job security.
Can't beat it. and you got LeBron and a bunch of stars in the league. Like, it's a great time.
You just counting down the days till LeBron goes because he's actually the commissioner. Robbie, what do you think?
I think that it would be a great move for the NFL because no one likes Goodell. I didn't mean for that to rhyme.
That is true. Okay.
But, I mean, no, especially when we look at a lot like the social, things are happening with the NFL. They need this in a way.
Yeah.
He gives the NBA. Obviously, Silver gives the NBA the players the ability to be able to voice their opinions. We've seen everything from I can't breathe shirts on the court to the expansion league from Africa so on and so forth.
Okay. The only one thing that I would say there, these are two different animals. These are the opposites of the spectrum in terms of player control, where the NBA players run on autopilot and the NFL players are
all over the place.
A mess.
And it's a lot more players, too.
It's a lot more players. They have no control. The CBA is wrecked. It's really two opposites. NBA, where the players have control. NFL, where it's no player control. The teams have all the control. And there is a dynamic developing there.
Okay.
All right. Next thing. Antonio Brown bids goodbye and officially asks for a trade. We already touched on that. We know what's going to happen. We know that the Steelers told him to kick rocks. All right. So whatever he wants to act like it's him or whatever it is, we know better. If the Steelers wanted to put up with your antics, this wouldn't be happening.
Yeah. He's out of there. He's gone. And to be honest with you, it kind of sucks in a way because it's very difficult to find top 5 players in multiple positions and have them on your team, and you drafted them, right? So for them to lose Le'Veon Bell, that hurt. To lose Antonio Brown, yeah, we can find somebody new, but those are 2 huge franchise pieces that you're letting walk out the door. But they've gotten to the point where for whatever reason they can't mend it. They've got no choice but to get rid of him because it's only going to get worse.
Right.
Because he's gotten worse by the minute. Like
100%.
Yeah.
And again, Steelers believe in coaches, not players. They have a 50-year history of that.
I like Tomlin. Tomlin, and I think he's a good coach. I'm not sure
Joe,
what's happening there.
3 coaches since we were born.
Yeah, that's true.
3 coaches since we were born. And a whole bunch of players that came out of nowhere to be Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
100%. Antonio Brown. I just hope that you become a Redskin, though. And someone takes away your Twitter. That's what needs to happen with Antonio Brown.
But y'all need a quarterback with the Redskins, though,
Kyler
right?
Murray. We'll draft Kyler Murray.
Okay, let's move on to the next subject. I see it. Glazier predicts Giants will trade OBJ. Where's that coming from, Joe? Hold on, before you start, let's pull Gene in. On the line, calling from Huntsville, Alabama. He is the head boxing coach at the North Huntsville Onyx Boxing Club. He is a regular guest with the council. He is our boxing correspondent, but he knows a whole lot about a bunch of other sports also. He is Eugene Lewis. Gene, welcome to the show. Say hello to everybody. We also have Robby from the Rumboyz Network joining us. I know you guys have been chopping it up in our green room chat for the last week, so you're no longer strangers. Say hello, please.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
We good.
Okay, so we only have a couple of subjects, and then we're going to move on to NBA news. All right, so we're really going to feature Gene here for the next 15, 20 minutes. Robby, you are more than welcome to stay and add your 2 cents wherever you can get it in. Is that fair? Or you got to go?
I do have to go because I do have one more guest spot that I do have to take care of. But
okay.
I really, really appreciate being on the show.
Good having you, man. Good having you.
Robby, thank you very much. Can you please tell everybody where to find you, where to subscribe to the Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Network?
Most certainly. You can look us up on YouTube, Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Network, and you can check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Rumboyz, spelled with the Z-N-E-T.
All right. Thanks again. Make sure everyone check them out at Rumboyz Fantasy Sports Net. Did I get that right? Or is it Rumboyz Sports Net?
Yes, sir.
All right. Rumboyz Fantasy
Sports Network. Yes, sir.
Got it. All right. Thank you again. We will see you soon. It's been awesome chopping this up with you.